Hello, Ties. This is my collage that I began, and I feel that my research is moving towards this idea of attention that we hold. There is a Buddhist teacher and philosopher who I hope to do much more investigation on for my final project that says the key is in this life, I suppose, is being able to hold the pain of the world in your heart, yet still see the beauty in the trees. And I think my inquiries into chaos and order and freedom and discipline and normalization and even just life has led me to this question of how do we sit with that tension? How do we meet it in our lives? And how do we meet it in the children we see, the living with what's not yet there, and not being bombarded by grief and still moving forward. So this is my collage. There is beautiful flowers and also a grenade to demonstrate the paradox. And I liked that you, reinvented by you. It reminded me of autopoiesis and how we're all changing in this journey. Then there's some army guys there to represent war and death and opposition. And then there is a horseshoe crab, and that bottle of blue is the horseshoe crab blood, which I discovered looking through these magazines, that they are draining their blood to use for testing, and there is like a decrease in the horseshoe crabs. And this is just so sad to me and also paradoxical that they're able to use what nature provides to test for E. coli and all these things, yet it's damaging the horseshoe crabs. And I think this is just a pebble of sand on the beach of ways in which we've impacted our world that just can become overwhelming if we focus on it. And so the paradox there is somebody doing mindfulness or being still. And I feel like what's bubbling up as a pondering for what do we do with this tension is sit with it. And then of course you've got your yin and yang of, positive action that still we sit with. How can that be? And then back to nature. It seems there is a movement now, which so grateful for, that we are moving back to Gaia. But I cut it out in the shape of flames because, we know the Amazon rainforest on fire. And as we are moving back in a call to nature, but yet there's that pain we have to hold of the grief of what's happening now. And there's a baby. That's our future. She's touching that flame. And there's a child here which represents joy and purity of the human spirit to me in the ocean, which is also so beautiful, but sitting on top of burnt up coal. And that's another way in which, how do we enjoy the boy knowing that's behind it? Like, how do we hold trauma and love in the same room and just let them have a conversation? And then this is a question that how can we connect ourselves and the children and even adults that we work with back to Gaia? Even myself, I'm still making those connections. I don't have the biophilia yet. I know how important it is, but if we bring our deep histories with us, I want to accept and love myself where I am, yet be willing to pass along what I know is necessary for the next generation. And then these pieces of trees I thought were fascinating because they've been sliced. And we know we can't make a tree with the slices. So we are one, but the pieces are unique. And I thought that really represented autopoiesis. So be calm and release. I feel like in a way that is part of the journey. And what really stuck with me that Enid mentioned in her instructions was that it matters how it's attached. And that really resonated with me, as I'm very interested in attachment theory and the connection and how to make children's spirits feel safe and how that affects them for the rest of their lives, and how are we even attached to one another through this consciousness that we've been studying. And it's such a mystery and so profound that what came to me is that this would be part of my collage. Might I suggest that we're not totally attached, and it's always changing and moving. Yet if you notice, we are one in the sense that these elements are all made of paper. So in a sense, we came from the same source, but we're all individual, and we can make a picture together, and that picture's changing. But we are not totally attached. We are our unique one pieces. So that is my take.